welcome back. I am looking a little bit different today because I often talk about colouring my own hair and smudging my own roots, and I've never actually done it for you up close and personal. So I thought I would. I thought I would take you through the process of how often I colour my hair at home. And there's a few caveats before I start. Professional hairdressers, look away now. I'm sure I'm not doing this properly. I have had over the years a lot of unintentional training from hair colourists, from the brilliant Josh Wood and Adam Reed and the whole team, Tony and Andreas at Salon Sloan, amazing colourists who've worked on my hair, Nicola Clark over the years. And the truth is that as I've got older and I've become greyer, and I'm going to show you my grey close up now, prepare yourself, that is about 2 weeks growth. And as you can see, at the top it's pretty much 75% grey, and then I go through phases where it's not grey here and then it's completely grey at the sides again. I'd still think I'd look a bit like Elvira if I ever grew it out properly, a sort of dark blonde Elvira. Anyway, as I've got older, I've had to have less and less highlights or bleach or balayage, because the truth of the matter is, if you're very careful about how you smudge your grey roots and tint your grey roots, and this is a tint, it's a permanent tint, then what happens is as your hair grows out, the greys almost become your own natural highlights, as Josh Wood once told me, Mother's Nature's highlights. Now, I've used so many products to colour my hair over the years. I've used Revlon, I've used Redken, this is Matrix, I've used home dye kits, I've used Clairol, I've used so many different products. The secret is you need to find what your base colour is. Now, home hair colour rule number 2, don't take your hair lighter at home. It's really difficult to do. That, I believe, deserves to be in the hands of the professionals. What I'm doing is I'm taking my grey hair back to my base colour, and my base colour, as I've been told many times by a professional, is an 8N. This is Matrix So Colour Beauty 8N, and it is a mousy blonde. It's a dark mousy blonde, essentially. Over the years, I've been a 7N, I've had a little bit of 9N, I've had a little bit of 9AV. N stands for neutral, by the way, W stands for warm, A stands for ash, V stands for violet. And pretty much most brands follow that caveat. Even if you go and buy your Clairol root smudge kit, root retoucher, or you buy your Clairol just all over colour, which I would buy and then stick on my roots. For me, the secret is to look for 8N, 8 neutral. That is my base colour. If you're in doubt, go to your hair stylist, your hair colourist, and ask them what your base colour is. This isn't one of those videos where I'm going to go out and do this. It's taken me a long time to master this. It's not perfect. I'm even going to attempt to do the back today. Let's just start, shall we? So what you do is you need your base colour. You have to invest in a professional bowl. I really think it's the easiest thing to do. If you've got a professional hair colour kit, like an at-home, over-the-counter one, it'll come in a squeezy thing. I still mix them up in this. You're going to need a tinting brush, not only to section your hair with that, but also to apply the colour at the root. And then I use, this is Redken Chromatics, it's a 20 vol cream. Now the advantage of the cream is it's thicker. I got all of this on Amazon. Another caveat, professional hair colour companies do not like you buying stuff off Amazon. It tends to be what's called the grey market, i.e. it's not properly distributed by them, because obviously they don't want idiots like me colouring my own hair, because, you know, I might turn around and go, this is Matrix's fault, or this is Redken's fault. It's not their fault. If anything goes wrong, it's my fault. They want you to go to a salon to get your hair done, because that's where you'll get the best results. However, if you're going grey and you don't have the time or the energy or the effort or the funds, this is a good cheat. Shh, don't tell any professional hairdressers. Right, so what you do is you take your cream. Over the years, I've worked out roughly how much I need for my entire head of hair. There's my bowl. I'm actually going to try and do the back as well, just to let you know. So I'm going to put in enough here to do the back and the front. And the sides, obviously, which is where I'm super grey. That much colour in my bowl. You See, now if you're a professional hairdresser, you'd mix this properly. Honestly, there's going to be people, professional hairdressers, looking at this thinking, what the hell? I pretty much mix it 50-50 with my activating solution, the 20 vol. Again, I sort of go by consistency. Yeah, so when it starts to loosen up, this is very thick, this is slightly looser. When it starts to loosen up, it's a little bit like the Great British Bake Off, faking having dark roots. Now the interesting thing about colouring your hair as well is, rather than go lighter to colour your grey, if you go darker, yes, you will have to do it more often, but can I just say, people think that that's my base colour, so they can't quite believe I'm grey. I mean, look how grey I am, seriously, look at that grey tram line through it, and through the sides here. But by darkening your base colour, I think it gives the hair depth. It gives it a sort of two-dimensional, three-dimensional effect that I think is much more youthful than going super light. Anyway, so there you go. I'm ready mixed up, so it becomes that texture. And the minute you put the 20 vol in, you begin to smell the peroxide. Now you will see as this oxidizes, this will go a warm brown colour. Are you ready for this? I can't quite believe I'm doing this on camera. So you load up your brush, and I've sort of learned a technique over the years. I always start my parting, the main bit of my hair, and then I paint in. See the advantage of that brush? So much more accurate in its application than a squeezy tube. Now I'm obviously not going to do all of this for you, I'm going to speed it up, I'm going to show you the technique first. Okay, now when I get to the back of my hair, I sort of split it in a Y, because I want to, and by this point I'm sort of feeling where I'm going, I want to make sure that the crown is fully covered, because that's where I'm greyest. I'm greyest through the front, through the sides, through the parting, through the sides and over the crown. Load up the brush again, go to the other side. Now at this point also, can I just say, I should be wearing gloves. However, I'm going to put this on quite quickly, and then I'm going to wash my hands. So you'll notice it's a really quick procedure. Okay, that's how much I put on, and then I take my section, and I take my section roughly, that's probably 2/3 of a centimetre. I run my tinting, the end of my tinting brush down, take the section, and then the hair that gets lifted with the relatively clean brush, I push back onto the previously damp colour treated root, so it holds that section down. See how it holds it down perfectly? This is already starting to take, can you see that? That colour's starting to go. Load the brush up again and go back over it. That way, by the way, my hair is back in a ponytail with one of those. And I think that gives you, it's a loose ponytail because I'm going to pull sections out, but I think that gives you more control rather than having to flop your hair back and forth and risk it getting coloured. So there you go. It's the next section. I left my section. I left my grey quite a long time for you guys so you could see it. I went to an event last night and I'm like, oh, I'm so conscious of my grey hair. Now I would normally be doing this in the bathroom, obviously. There you go, there's that section done. Take the point of the brush, 3/4 of a centimetre roughly. I'm very grey at the top, so I'm very careful to take finer sections. By the time I get through here, where look, I'm really not that grey, I'll be a bit more slapdash about it. A bit more slapdash, they said. Could she get any more slapdash? Anyway, back into the tint again, and over the grey. Now, at this point, I will say, I have not had my hair professionally coloured since probably last August. And I'll be really honest with you, the roots are getting very muddy. And that's because, essentially, I've used so many different brands of colour and it looking a bit camouflagey. It does actually need properly colour correcting. This is purely a fail-safe, emergency, oh my God, I need to do my roots. 3/4 of a centimetre again, lift, push the hair back on to the damper section. I sort of strangely enjoy it. You know I'm a frustrated hairdresser, I've talked about this before. There you go. I'm going to carry on, and when I get down to the side I'm going to show you how I do the sides. Now, I've mixed enough colour for my hair. Over the years I've known how much hair colour is needed to cover all of my roots. Now, bearing in mind I've got quite fine hair, we've talked about this a lot. If you have thicker hair, if you're an unusual colour, it's going to be much more difficult for you to do this at home. But my real only don't try this at home rule for hair colour is if you're going lighter. I really wouldn't try it. Over the years I've learned as a teenager, don't try and highlight your hair, don't try and lighten your hair at home. The chances are it's going to go much warmer and not the colour you want. Now by the time I get down to here, you're going to notice I'm suddenly super grey again. There you go, that's where my grey starts to appear. And by the way, yes I do, I go up, and then when I come to this side I'll reverse the process. Keeping an eye on that colour, look you see, it's beginning to go that muddy blonde colour again. And here I am, super grey again. I have to be careful to get every last little wiry hair down here in, because they have a tendency to ping back out again and then they're not coloured. There you go, that's one half of it done. How gorgeously attractive do I look now? Control yourself, gentlemen. Anyway, clear the brush off, and then you need to go back in and lift this hair. Now, the majority of this hair is not coloured at all, but you need to go back in and find that 1 centimetre, that's the other side of that parting. And there she blows. There she is, look. And what you need to do is load up your brush and get in there. That's a really important section to cover. I'm just warning you. It's an easy one to miss because you don't want to get colour on your hands, but trust me, it's got to be done. There you go, done. Now, how are you going to do the back? It's pretty much got to be done by touch, and it's not going to be done perfectly, but if you choose a colour that is as close to your base colour as possible, nobody's really going to notice. So what you do is you take the sectioning end of the colouring brush, you go back in and section your hair forward, and you're right in at the very top of the crown now, and you take the brush. Isn't it funny how I just do this by touch now? I'm so used to doing it. And you paint it across the crown. Now I'm not very grey at the back, so I haven't got a lot to cover, so I take the sections much thicker at the back. That was a thick section, that was a good inch section. Again, the brush, go in. This is as much about blending it with the rest of the colour, to be honest. Then I get all the hair up on top into a top knot. Make sure the ends are kept well clear so that they're not getting, I don't want any of the ends getting darker. And then I go in around the hairline. And again, I don't mind if the back of my hair is considerably darker than the front. So I just swidge it onto those neck hairs at the back that I know are super grey. Onto the side. And see what I mean about the consistency of this? This mixer, this 20 volt cream from Red King Chromatics. It doesn't drip. I remember colouring my hair when I was younger and it used to drip everywhere all over my towels. I mean, I'm doing this in my office. It feels so weird not to be doing this in a bathroom. I've got no towels, I've got a grey t-shirt on, nothing has dripped. That's the advantage of these modern technologies. So there you go, all around the back, those grey hairs. And now, I'm going to go and check it in the bathroom mirror because I can't do it here. I've got a tiny little mirror here. I do really need to go and check it properly in a mirror and just make sure that I have covered everything. But I'm going to leave it for 35 minutes. 40. There you go. That's how dark it goes, which is pretty scary, but trust me, it'll be okay when it washes off. This is around 35 minutes, 40 minutes. I mean, it's pretty much self-regulating. I mean, you could leave it on for too long, and I wouldn't do that because it does go muddy. Hence, you've seen when I've forgotten and I'm working at my computer and suddenly look up and an hour's gone, or watching The Real Housewives. It's my guilty secret. I went in afterwards with a damp microfiber cloth, just cleared up the edges. This and this are also, by the way, widely available on Amazon. Let me wash all this off and show you the results. Ta-da! Here we are an hour later, free of grey hairs. I've had a shower. I just rinse it off generally in the shower. I don't really worry about it going through the rest of my hair. You see how it hasn't touched this part of my hair at all? I mean, it's slightly darker under here. The greys have gone under here. Well, you can see one I've missed there. And you can see that it is considerably darker. But as this washes out and fades out over time, it becomes this colour, which I think is quite clever. Let me show you the roots. There you go, all grey gone. And that, all in all, took an hour, which is the amount of time it would take me to get into a salon in London. And it really is quite easy. It's not perfect, it's not as good as a hairdresser would do, but it's considerably cheaper, and if you are tempted, I suggest you go for it. You just need a professional to choose your base colour for you, and a really good hairdresser, hair colourist will do that for you. They will. They'll say, look, in an ideal world, this is the kit you should use. Ask me for any advice, you know, whether it's Josh Wood or originally the team at 4 who helped me find my colour. Once you find your base colour, you're kind of set, really. Now, yes, those base colours will vary slightly from brand to brand. In an ideal world, I wouldn't use that. It's slightly warm for me. I would use Red King Chromatics 8N, but it really is that easy. You can see there, it's a smudged out, soft base colour. Would you ever dye your own roots? I'm not sure I would dye my hair all over because I like a two-tone look, but I have friends that do their entire head and they are brunettes. It's easier to do if you're one single shade from top to bottom. What I do is just that little bit of regrowth, and then as it grows out, it slowly fades. I go on holiday, obviously it lifts massively, and then that toned down, smudged down grey hair is not a block colour. You can see the tones within it, then ends up becoming this sort of mid-shade blonde as it grows out. It's very interesting because I actually haven't had my hair professionally coloured since the end of July now. So, I mean, that's obviously this much hair. So I've actually been colouring this much hair, and then I've got the remains of some balayage just in the end there. But I know, before you look too closely, it does need colour correcting at some point. I'm going to put the kit below of everything I use, including the different colour options, including Clairol, which I really like if you're going to use an at-home kit. I'm going to show you the links to all of the Amazon stuff, because essentially the really big professional hair colours, professional as in salon hair colours, really don't want you using them at home. So I'm sorry. I apologise in advance to my favourite hair colour ranges, and every hairstylist or hair colourist is looking at my hair going, what is she doing? Anyway, in the spirit of transparency and honesty on Instagram and YouTube, because someone somewhere out there needs to own it, this is what I do to my hair. Probably, if I can push it, every 3 weeks, but it's normally between every 2 and 3 weeks because my hair grows quite quickly. Thank you for watching, thank you for subscribing. I'm not sure if I should have done this one. What do you think?